of the 20th Congress is hereby called to order. Senator Pampilo Lacson will lead the chamber in prayer.
Heavenly Father, on this holiday season, as we remember the birth of your Son Jesus in a simple manger, we lift up to you the homeless with no roof above their heads except the sky, and whose only bed is the ground. Wrap them in your comfort when the night is cold. Give them shade when the day is hot. Feed them, not with scavenged food from the mounds of trash, but from the open hearts and willing hands of the more blessed among us. Let kindness find them in unexpected places. Fill their hearts with hope when their world feels empty. All this we ask in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Let us remain standing for the singing of the Philippine National Anthem. Secretary, please call the roll.
Roll call of members. The Honorable Senator Aquino, Senator Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Ejercito, Senator Escudero, Senator Estrada, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Lacson, Senator Lapid, Senator Legarda, Senator Marcoleta, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pangilinan, Senator Tulfo Erwin, Senator Tulfo Rafi, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Camille, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Zubiri. The Senate President is present.
With 17 senators present, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we dispense with the reading of the journals of the 32nd session Tuesday, December 9, 2025, and the 33rd session Wednesday, December 10, 2025, and consider them as approved. So moved, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, the journals approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before we proceed to the reference of business, while we have a number of members that are here today for third reading, Mr. President, I move that we consider for third reading Senate Bill number 1506. This is an act mandating the full disclosure of government transactions through the digital budget portal. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, the consideration of Senate Bill 1506 on third reading is in order. The Senate Secretary is directed to read the title of the bill and proceed with the roll call vote.
An act mandating the full disclosure of government transactions to the establishment of a digital budget portal to enhance transparency, accountability, and public participation in the Philippine budget process. Roll call vote. Senator Aquino. Yes. Senator Cayetano Alan. Senator Cayetano Pia. Senator De La Rosa. Senator Ejercito. Senator Escudero. Senator Estrada. Senator Gatchalian. Senator Go. Senator Ontiveros. Senator Lacson. Senator Lapid. Senator Legarda. Senator Marcoleta. Senator Marcos. Senator Padilla, Senator Pangilinan, Senator Tulfo Erwin, Senator Tulfo Rafi, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Camille, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 17 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, Senate Bill 1506 is approved on third reading.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Congratulations to the sponsors. and author of the
Bam,
measure.
Senator Bam Aquino, you are congratulated.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we, no explanation on that. I move that we consider as well for third reading, Senate Bill number 604. This is an act amending Republic Act 997 or amendments to the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos Act. I so move.
Senate Bill, ano to? 9997. Okay. All right, any objection? Hearing none, consideration of Senate Bill 604 is in order. Secretary will read the title of the bill and conduct a roll call vote.
An act amending Article 1, Section 5 of Republic Act number 9997, otherwise known as the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos Act of 2009. Roll call vote. Senator Aquino. Yes. Senator Cayetano Alan. Senator Cayetano Pia. Senator De La Rosa. Senator Ejercito. Senator Escudero. Senator Estrada. Senator Gatchalian. Senator Go. Senator Ontiveros. Senator Lacson. Senator Lapid. Senator Legarda, Senator Marcoleta, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pangilinan, Senator Tulfo Erwin, Senator Tulfo Rafi, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Camil, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Zubiri,
Yes.
Senate President Soto III.
With 17 affirmative votes, 0 negative votes, and 0 abstention, Senate Bill 604 is approved on third reading.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Congratulations,
President.
Senator Padilla.
Yes, we'd like to give our congratulations to Senator Robin Hood Padilla, Mr. President, for sponsoring the measure. Mr. President, with that, I move to proceed with the reference of business.
Secretary will proceed with the reference of business.
Messages from the House of Representatives, letter from the House informing the Senate that on 10 December 2025, it passed the following House bills in which it requests the concurrence of the Senate. House number 6540, an act restructuring the Energy Regulatory Commission, amending for the purpose sections 38, 39, 40, 41, 43, 44, and 46, and repealing section 42 of Republic Act number 9136, otherwise known as the Electric Power Industry Reform Act of 2001.
Referred to the Committees on Energy, Public Services, and Finance.
House number 6276, an act instituting a loan restructuring and condonation program for socialized and low-cost housing.
Referred to the Committee on Urban Planning.
House number 6278, an act establishing an on-site, in-city, near-city, or off-city local government resettlement program for informal settler families in accordance with the People's Plan, amending for the purpose Republic Act number 7279 as amended, otherwise known as the Urban Development and Housing Act of 1992.
Referred to the Committee on Urban Planning.
Letter from the House informing the Senate that on 10 December 2025, it designated Representatives Juan Singh, Garcia, Singson Mihan, Alvarez, Zabora, Momo Sr., Rodriguez, Romualdo, Yamsuan, Benitez, Libanan, and T as conferees to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the disagreeing votes on House number 4058, an act appropriating funds for the operation of the Republic of the Philippines from January 1 to December 31, 2026.
To the Committee on Rules.
Letter from the House informing the Senate that on 9 December 2025, it adopted House Concurrent Resolution number 7, concurrent resolution further amending the legislative calendar for the first regular session of the 20th Congress of the Philippines as amended, in which it requests the concurrence of the Senate.
To the Archives.
Letter from the House transmitting to the Senate a copy of Resolution number 1, resolution informing the Senate that the House of Representatives has been organized, has entered upon the exercise of its functions, which was adopted by the House of Representatives on July 28, 2025.
To the Archives.
Bills on first reading, Senate number 1598, an act providing for incentives and benefits for healthcare workers in the private sector, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Senator De La Rosa.
To the Committees on Health and Finance.
Senate number 1599, an act strengthening the practice of midwifery as a profession in the Philippines, providing funds therefore, repealing for the purpose Republic Act number 7392, otherwise known as the Philippine Midwifery Act of 1992. Senator De La Rosa.
To the Committees on Civil Service and Finance.
Senate number 1600, an act establishing in the municipality of Santa Cruz, province of Davao del Sur, a general hospital to be known as the Santa Cruz Medical Center, appropriating funds therefore. Senator De La Rosa.
Referred to the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, are we ready? Sponsorship muna tayo. Mr. President, I move that we transfer from the calendar of ordinary business to special order Senate Bill number 1513 under Committee Report number 17, and after which the Secretary could read the title of the measure.
Any objection? Hearing none, so transferred to, shall we consider,
Yes, Mr.
Majority
President.
Leader?
May I move to consider the measure and ask the Secretary to read the title of the measure.
Any objection? Hearing none, consideration of the measure is in order. The Secretary will read the title of the measure without prejudice to inserting into the records the whole text thereof.
An act instituting a national health program to combat systemic lupus erythematosus disease and appropriating funds therefor.
May we ask for a minute suspension while our sponsor just gets the materials from our staff, Mr. President.
Session suspended.
and grit in championing legislative support and prompting awareness on lupus stems from my personal and first-hand experience, as my wife has been bravely battling disease for many decades now. Na-witness ko po ang challenges na pinagdaanan niya, pati na ang iba't ibang testing at treatments. Mr. President, it took years of hospital visits and medications before my wife was able to be given the proper care that her condition requires. We are fortunate enough to have the necessary resources to cater to her needs. But Mr. President, I cannot also say the same for other lupus warriors. Hindi po accessible sa maraming mayroong lupus ang treatments at testing na kinakailangan para sa kanilang kondisyon. Marami po ang hindi na ipagagamot ng maayos ang kanilang mga sintomas. Nagreresulta po ito sa lalong paglala ng kanilang kondisyon at karamdaman. Kung kaya sa tulong po ng advocates at iba pang lupus warriors, itinayo po ang Hope for Lupus Foundation sa pangunguna ng aking may bahay upang magbigay tulong sa mga kapuspalad na may lupus. The foundation conducts exhibits, seminars, publications, and activities to raise funds for lupus warriors and to raise awareness for the disease. In the hope of furthering our advocacy, I am appealing to this chamber for its support of this bill, which aims to implement a comprehensive and nationwide program for lupus awareness and treatment. Through Senate Bill number 1513, the following programs and services will be implemented by the Department of Health. 1. Conduct orientation and counseling services for families of newly diagnosed persons with lupus. Number 2. Establish national and regional referral services where the DOH shall maintain an updated list of healthcare institutions and practitioners concerned with the treatment of lupus. 3. Publish a newsletter on current development and research on lupus, as well as other reading materials on the early detection, prevention, and treatment of lupus, and best practices for the care of diagnosed persons with lupus. And 4. Undertake continuing education and training programs on the proper care of diagnosed persons with lupus in collaboration with medical societies and hospital associations. This bill also mandates the DOH to establish and maintain an information and monitoring system on lupus that requires health facilities and healthcare professionals to submit monthly reports on incidences of lupus to help formulate corresponding policy and necessary interventions. Additionally, all DOH staff and healthcare personnel providing services to lupus patients shall undergo mandatory continuing education and training. To help ease the financial burden of lupus patients, this bill provides that the cost of early detection and screening programs for lupus shall be covered by PhilHealth. Relevant government agencies and healthcare facilities shall be authorized to receive donations and grants on behalf of patients. Lastly, the bill sets the celebration of Lupus Awareness Week every first week of May to expand the national interest and awareness of the disease. This aims to raise public awareness on lupus to ensure that even our young population is informed of the disease's symptoms and the available help for our patients. I also want to thank Senator Risa Ontiveros, the chairperson of the Committee on Health, for supporting and pushing for this very important measure. Mr. President, I implore our dear colleagues for the immediate passage of this bill. Layunin po natin maipasa ang batas na ito upang mabigyan ng pagkakataon ang lupus patients na magkaroon ng sapat na access sa tamang treatments at mga gamot na magbibigay ginhawa sa kanilang mga dinadaing na karamdaman. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, next to co-sponsor is our distinguished colleague from Taguig and Pateros, Senator Pia Cayetano.
Senator Pia Cayetano is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I would just like to deliver a co-sponsorship speech for this very important matter. Our colleague, Senator Mark Villar, and his wife have very much been involved in building awareness for lupus. Former Congresswoman Villar, in fact, has lupus, and she has been an inspiration in raising awareness on this. What I know about lupus is because the post and all the advocacy work she has done. And my experience with diseases and conditions really starts with awareness. So to be able to share your personal story with the world and to put yourself out there, including the difficulties you encounter with a disease that is very debilitating at times, is something that we commend her for, because this has really made an impact, not just on me, but I'm sure many, many other people who have come across her post and her advocacy work. I also want to share what I've learned about this is that it is very difficult to diagnose because symptoms are different for different people. So apparently, many times it gets misdiagnosed, which makes access to treatment, which delays access to treatment. And that's why bring awareness to this is so important. I looked it up because my advocacy is rare diseases. My son had trisomy 13, which I only found out is a rare disease when I became a senator already. I didn't know that it is considered a rare disease. So I looked up lupus, if it's a rare disease. And it's not a rare disease, but it has its own share of complications. And the symptoms, as I said, are very difficult to detect. So in many ways, it's similar to a rare disease. Now, you may have this condition and not know it and not be able to get the treatment that you need. So we are happy, Mr. President, to be able to support this. We thank the chairperson, Senator Risa, for bringing up this matter. I think I will ask that my whole speech be put into the record, because these are technical matters that are good to share with people. But for me, I just wanted to express that admiration I have for those patients who already are going through these conditions, and yet they're able to share their personal stories for this. So thank you for this, former Congresswoman M. Villar. And of course, it's important to note that the bill includes PhilHealth's involvement, as we are in the period of the reconciling the different provisions of the BICAM. It is important to really acknowledge the role of PhilHealth here. We are constantly trying to ensure that PhilHealth has the proper funding, because no amount of dole out, no amount of one-time medical assistance, two-time medical assistance, three-time medical assistance can address conditions like this. These really have to fall under the umbrella of PhilHealth to be able to truly service the needs of patients who have this condition. And my final note is, lupus is one of the many diseases that we have to address. But sometimes it takes a champion to share their story for it to get the attention that it needs. So again, thank you to the chairperson, to former Congresswoman M. Villar, and to all the others who have supported this measure. Thank you, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, Senator Joel Villanueva asked me also to put on the record that his sponsorship speech be just placed into the records.
All right, take note of the manifestation.
Mr. President, may I also deliver a co-sponsorship speech on this measure?
Yes, of course, the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I rise today to co-sponsor a very urgent and important measure for many Filipino families, including my own, Mr. President. Many don't know that my daughter, who's 17 years old, my only daughter, Mr. President, is suffering also from lupus. So, mahirap po pag may sakit po yung inyong anak, di ba? Palagi po akong humingi sa Panginoon Diyos na kung pwede, ako na lang po ang makakuha ng kanyang sakit. Pero ganun talagang kapalaran ng ating buhay, wala tayong magagawa. But it's very difficult. But with us, at least our family, may konting kaya, Mr. President. Paano naman yung mga kababayan natin na wala pong kaya? Hindi po nila kayang bilhin yung mga gamot para sa kanilang mga anak. So, this is important that we have this Comprehensive Lupus Prevention Act. Lupus, Mr. President, is shorthand for Systemic Lupus Erythematosus, or SLE. It's a very tricky disease. You can have a perfect, healthy heart, lungs, and kidneys. You can eat the most nutritious food, get enough sleep, take all the right vitamins. You can have all of that, but if you have lupus, your body begins to work against itself. Una nga po nangyari sa aking anak, hindi po namin alam lupus kasi parang parang ano lang po siya, skin problem, skin disease. Tapos nagtataka po kami kung anong ibibigay po namin gamot sa kanya, hindi po naaayos yung problema niya. Hanggang nagkaroon po ng series of blood tests at dyan na po namin malalaman. Kaya tama po sinabi ni Senator Rizon Tiveros that many times it is misdiagnosed as other diseases or other sicknesses and not really the main cause, which is lupus. When you have lupus, your immune system, which should protect you from infections, goes rogue and starts targeting your healthy tissues instead, damaging your major organs. A lupus flare can leave you debilitated. Talagang bagsak ang katawan niyo po pag may lupus flare, making even simple movements painful and exhausting. And even a short walk can leave you short of breath. And because it's an autoimmune problem, Mr. President, yung immune system mo goes haywire. Yung anak ko nga, pag nagkaroon ng ubo, ang tagal bago mawala yung ubo. Pag nagkaroon po siya ng sipon, ang tagal bago mawala siya ng sipon. Pag nagkasakit siya, and we pray, that is when we do our novenas, Mr. President, napakatagal po nawala ang kanyang sakit sa katawan. Because nga, nawawala yung immune system ng inyong katawan. And because the organs are made weaker by these autoimmune autobodies, people with lupus face higher risk of having strokes or heart attack or memory loss and seizures. They are especially vulnerable to renal disease. In fact, global studies show that 40% of all lupus patients develop chronic kidney disease. And there is to date no cure, Mr. President, for lupus at the moment. The best that can be done at the moment is closely manage it according to medical plans tailored for patient's particular condition, because lupus manifests differently for every patient. Some might experience more intense chronic joint pain than others. Some might experience seizures while others won't. Some might be saddled by lung problems while others deal with heart problems. There's no one-size-fits-all for lupus treatment, Mr. President. And because the symptoms are so varied, as I mentioned earlier, it is very easy to misdiagnose a lupus patient, leading to wrong treatment plans, wrong medication, mali po mga gamot na binibigay, which can worsen their condition. This is where the Comprehensive Lupus Prevention Act becomes necessary. If we want to have effective medical plans for lupus patients, we need to have sound data first. How many lupus patients do we have across the country, for example? What are the most affected demographics? What are the most prevalent symptoms? And are there common comorbidities? As of now, we don't yet have the statistics on the actual prevalence of lupus in the country. Although we know that this disproportionately affects female adults and female children. Halos mga 90% po ay kababaihan ang apektado dito. According to a survey of lupus care in the Philippines, we only have one rheumatologist per 1 million Filipinos. Napakahirap po, Mr. President, na maghanap ng rheumatologist doctor. Mostly they gravitate to cardiology, to different pediatrics, to different ranges. Napakahirap po maghanap ng rheumatologist. And this is a severe shortage that may contribute to the underdiagnosis of treatment of lupus in the country. With the Comprehensive Lupus Prevention Act, we hope to establish a national program for lupus prevention and treatment, and promote lupus awareness, and encourage and enable earlier lupus diagnosis and treatment. This way, we can prevent misdiagnosis and we can curb the effects of lupus flares as much as possible. This measure will also create a collaborative network among medical institutions for stronger research and knowledge transfer on lupus detection, prevention, cure, and treatment. A key aspect of this collaborative network will be the information and monitoring system on lupus, through which we can build a database of lupus prevalence in the country, which will then inform our national program for prevention and treatment. We cannot fight lupus blindly, Mr. President. But if we know the facts, if we know the lay of the land, then we can engage in a more effective plan of action. Through this measure, we also hope to provide institutional support not only to lupus patients, but to their families as well. According to the survey on lupus care that I mentioned earlier, Filipino families of juvenile lupus patients shell out an average of 162,764 pesos per year on treatment. Paano ba kung kaya ng mga mahihirap nating kababayan ito? Hindi nila makakaya ito, Mr. President. This amount is already a huge burden on a middle income class Filipino family, more so with lower income families. Imagine, Mr. President, that on top of the distressing lack of permanent cure for lupus, families must also have to worry about the expensive medication and regular consultations required to effectively manage this disease. And if you ask Senator Mark Villar, myself, and those here who have lupus patients as family members, araw-araw po yung pag-inom ng gamot, Mr. President. Hindi, bawal po na mawalan ng gamot, maski na po isang araw man lang na hindi po iinom. Kasi dyan po pwedeng mag-flare up muli ang lupus infections or autoimmune disease. So, Mr. President, we have to help these families by giving them institutional support. Through this measure, we will do that by providing orientation and counseling for better understanding of their loved ones' conditions and how to manage it. But in tandem with this measure, we'll also push for a stronger, more inclusive, universal health care program under the UHC, Mr. President, that will help alleviate the financial burden carried by lupus patients and their families. Mr. President, mahirap ng kalaban nitong lupus. Walang gamot, walang iisang sintomas, pero hindi ibig sabihin ito na dapat na rin tayong mawalan ng pag-asa. We have to hope and we have to act. And passing the Comprehensive Lupus Prevention Act is a giant step in giving lupus patients hope. Through this measure, we'll be able to support lupus patients and help them lead healthy, happy, and fulfilling lives despite their disease. Mr. President, this is not a death warrant. I must say that marami pong lupus patients lived up to their 70s and 80s basta managed ng maayos ang kanilang kondisyon. And we will empower our medical sector under this law to strengthen lupus research locally and eventually contribute to global efforts to find a cure. And I like the suggestion of Senator Ping Lacson, our Senate President Pro Tem. Maybe we should come up with a lupus center as well. If we have the heart center, kidney center, lung center, maybe we can also, through this measure, push for a creation of a lupus center for autoimmune diseases. And I also like to end by thanking Senator Risa Ontiveros. Ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am, for taking this up as early as this year of 2025. And I hope that we can pass this the soonest possible time so that we can help the most number of lupus patients that we can, lalo na sa ating mga kababayan na hirap sa buhay, na hindi po sila nakakabili ng gamot para sa kanilang mga anak, sa kanilang mga magulang, at sa kanilang mga kamag-anak. So, Mr. President, I enjoin my colleagues to support this measure and give lupus patients, especially juvenile lupus patients, a chance at a better life. Maraming salamat, Mr. President. Thank you very much. Mabuhay.
Right, thank you. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Senator Bongo also wishes to insert his co-sponsorship speech for the record as well.
So noted.
Thank you. Mr. President, to allow our colleagues to study the measure further, I move to suspend consideration of the measure.
Any objection? There being none, consideration of 1513 is suspended.
May I ask for a minute suspension, Mr. President?
Session suspended.
While we're waiting the other members who would like to interpolate certain measures, I move that we recognize our distinguished colleague, Senator Rafi Tulfo, to avail of the privilege hour, Mr. President.
Senator Rafi Tulfo is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I will not take much of your time today. I just believe that learning could be taken from the matter that I wish to bring before this body. Mr. President, under Article 11 on accountability of public officers of of our Constitution, it is stated that public officers and employees must at all times be accountable to the people, serve them with utmost responsibility, integrity, loyalty, and efficiency. The past few months, we've been focused on the lack of integrity in government officials because of the flood control project issues. But we forget that corruption also happens because the government is inefficient and incompetent. During the recent budget season, I saw how incompetence creates fertile ground for corruption, making it easy to exploit the system to create illegal opportunities without detection. Ang pinagtutunghan ko po ay ang Food and Drug Administration or FDA. During the October 1 DOH budget hearing, I criticized FDA for its negligence on the continued sale of unregistered products that pose health risk. Bakit pala sila issue ng mga health advisory warning kung wala man lang effort on their part to implement these advisories? The FDA defended itself by saying it only has 890 plantilla employees, which limits its ability daw to monitor the banned products. But this is really unacceptable. Kung ayaw, maraming dahilan. If FDA is really serious, they can assign people to monitor these cases by simply calling drugstores, shops, and online marketplaces to check if they are still selling banned products. Or they can even utilize AI, develop a program that would make the job easier for them. At that point, I directly challenged FDA Director General Paulo Teston that if by next hearing these banned products are still being sold in the market, he should resign from his post because the public is clearly not benefiting from his leadership. True to FDA's poor reputation, they sent out a letter to Shopee, Lazada, and TikTok only on this November 7, more than a month after the hearing. That is why, during the subsequent plenary budget debates on November 26, I was no longer surprised that the prohibited products were still available online. Thus, I confronted FDA again to DOH Secretary Ted Herbosa. Mr. President, I would like to show a short video of what transpired. So since the last hearing, up to now, wala pa rin pong ginawa, Mr. President, ang FDA. And I still have the list of the same products. Pero sabi po kanina ng FDA, Mr. President, November 7 lang nagpadala ng letters, so it took them more than a month to just send a letter to different online platforms. Napakabagal, Mr. President. Gusto ko po hain ng challenge sa FDA for the second time. What if my office or Rapid Tool for Inaction mapatake down yan in 1 week or less? Will you? So since the last hearing, up to now, wala pa rin pong ginawa, Mr. President, ang FDA. And I still have the list of the same products. Pero sabi po kanina ng FDA, Mr. President, November 7 lang nagpadala ng letters, so it took them more than a month to just send a letter to different online platforms. Napakabagal, Mr. President. Gusto ko po hain ng challenge sa FDA for the second time. What if my office or Rapid Tool for Inaction mapatake down yan in 1 week or less? Will you ask him to resign? Challenge taken.
Sumagot na po ng yes si Secretary, Mr.
Thank you.
President.
Thank you very much. So I'm calling on the UH Secretary Bosa, make good on your promise on accepting my challenge at that time that you will ask Herbosa to resign dahil napaka-inutil ng taong yan. Yung isang dekada niyang mahigit na hindi niya ma-take down, Mr. President, na ilang buwan o taon ng mga produkto hindi niya ma-take down. Napaka-take down ko po in just 7 working days. At 2 tao lang pong inassign ko para tutukan yon. Whereas siya, mahigit 800 ang kanyang mga tao, by the hundreds of millions of pesos ang kanyang budget kada taon. Mr. President, the most recent challenge I posed to FDA said that if I could have mentioned the mentioned products and accounts removed by Shopee, Lazada, and TikTok within 7 days, Director General Teston should resign. At again, sinabi nga po ni Secretary Bosa, challenge accepted. The deadline was December 9, 2025. Ipapakita ko po sa inyo na with just 2 of my staff working, nagawa po namin ang trabaho na hindi niya kayang gawin sa loob ng mahigit 1 dekada at sa ibang mga produkto, taon nang inaabot at buwan pa. Every day after that, we would message the point person of Shopee, Lazada, and TikTok asking for the status for request. It just takes a few minutes every day to do that. December 9, 700 products, 700 product listings have been taken down. 373 by Lazada, 189 by Shopee, and 138 by TikTok Shop. By now, there are already 909 listings taken down. With little manpower, we were able to do what FDA could not do for decade, more than a decade, for years, for months, in some products. Ano po ang tawag dito? 2 lang po. Bakit 3? Sino 2 lang? Tamad, inutil, o kurakot. Dahil tumatanggap doon sa mga hindi nila mapa-take down ng mga produkto na sinasabi nila mismo na harmful po for human consumption, mapanganib, kaya nagbigay po sila ng warning. Mr. President, FDA's mandate is to ensure the safety, efficacy, or quality of health products or consumer products that may have an effect on health. But more than just protecting the people's health, what we don't immediately realize is that FDA regulates so many businesses, food, drugs, cosmetics, medical devices, household and urban pesticide products, and other household and urban hazardous substances. The value of these businesses reach about 7.2 trillion pesos. Ang laking pagkukurakutan. Trilyon. Ang laking halaga ng negosyo ang nasa kamay ng FDA. And with FDA topping the list of most complaint agency from January to August 2025 by the Anti-Red Tape Authority or ARTA, medyo mapapaisip po kayo. Ano ba talaga ang nangyayari dyan sa FDA? Based on our verification with ARTA, the reason for the complaints is often failed to process on time. Maraming unregistered products online kasi ang tagal nila mag-process, baka nag-aantay ng lagay. Kaya dahil alam nila na papasa ang produkto nila at safe ito, kaya itong ibang mga pharmaceutical companies, nagbebenta na lang para hindi masayang opportunity. For example, after October 1 budget hearing, where I mentioned unregistered products being sold in Watsons, such as popular brand products of Biotin and Lumi. Because they were called out, Watsons removed the products from their online platform, Motopropio. Well, actually, after they were called out, that's when they act on it and remove their products online. But a few days after, FDA finally approved these products. Sabi siguro ng FDA, sayang kung hindi kami napatulfo. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin sanang, alam nyo na, na walang tuloy ng kita ang FDA. FDA is purely reactive and not proactive and definitely not productive. May isa pa pong nakarating sa akin na modus ng FDA kung saan iniipit po nila ang ilang maliliit na pharmaceutical companies, local pharmaceutical companies. Tulad nitong insect killer na strike na water-based insect repellent. Safe na, mura pa. 5 taon na sila sa merkado at walang reklamo. Pero noong 2022, bigla na lang nilang hindi ni-renew ang Certificate of Product Registration ng nasabing produkto. At kung ano-ano mga dahilan ang binibigay kung bakit ayaw nila i-renew hanggang sa napagod na yung manufacturer, hindi na lang po tinuloy ang pagbenta ng napakaganda sanang strike product. Samantala, agad-agad, isang multinational company naglabas ng parehong produkto, parehong technology na mas mahal, biglang kumalat sa merkado. And very obvious, pinatay nila ang isang produkto na mura na galing sa isang maliit na pharmaceutical company para itong malaking multinational company come up with the same product and much expensive para maaprubahan, mapunta sa market. And of course, hindi naman siguro tayo mga elementary at alam na natin kung anong dahilan. Again, ang dahilan ay salapi. Now, the public is stuck with these expensive products kasi nga, mas mahal ang mga multinational companies na malaki ang ginagastos sa advertising at marketing. Ito rin ang nangyari sa ibang mga gamot kung saan mas nakakabenta ang mga multinational pharmaceutical companies dahil sa gastos ng mga sa medrep, sa mga seminars ng mga doktor, hotel, airplane tickets, and tours. Yan po ang isang dahilan kung bakit napakamahal po ng napakarami natin mga gamot na hindi kayang bilhin ng mga ordinaryong mamamayan dahil nga po gumagastos itong mga multinational companies ng milyon-milyon, daan-daan milyon kada taon para sa isang produkto. Whereas the small multinational companies, they don't have that budget. Therefore, wala din silang panglagay, hindi na po inaprubahan ang kanilang certification product or CPR, Certificate of Product Registration, after a year na matagal na tinatangkilik na sa merkado. Sa medium-sized pharmaceutical companies, just word of mouth po ang nangyari kaya mas mura ang mga produkto nila. Pero sila po ang pinahirapan ng FDA dahil wala nga po silang panglagay. Anyari FDA, hindi lang po kayo tamad at inutil, panigurado, talamak din ang korupsyon sa FDA. Kahit ano pang sagot, there is something wrong. It is bothering that we spend so much money on trying to deliver health services to our people when here is an agency under the DOH doing the exact opposite. Ang FDA ang nagiging dahilan bakit nagkakasakit palalo ang mga tao dahil hindi nila ginagawa ang kanilang trabaho. Mapanganib sa kalusugan ang ilan sa mga produktong pinatanggal po namin. Pinatake down namin. Tulad ng Hokkaido sleeping pills. Hokkaido slimming pills na may amphetamine na sangkop sa shabu. Ang ibang produkto naman ay maaaring magdulot ng severe heart, kidney, hormonal, and neurological complications, including cancer risk, dangerous blood pressure changes, and life-threatening electrolyte imbalances. Hindi po ginawa ng FDA ang kanilang trabaho, pinabayaan lang po ng mamayagpag, patuloy pa rin na mabibilian sa merkado through online. Mr. President, under Internet Transactions Act of 2023, Shopee, Lazada, or TikTok Shop as an e-marketplace is expressly required to prohibit the sale of regulated goods unless the necessary permits and license information are provided and sellers are contractually obliged to follow all applicable sale procedures and limitations. They are likewise mandated to provide an effective and responsive redress mechanism for reporting listings that violate Philippine laws. My office used these as basis to have the products taken down from their platform, and they complied accordingly. Ano pong mahirap doon, FDA? That is not even my office's mandate and expertise, and yet we were able to do it. Indeed, there's a need to cleanse the ranks of FDA. Nakailang palit na po ang head dyan. Wala pa rin po nagbabago. It seems that they have not found one with a stern hand na magtatanggal na masasamang damo sa FDA. Dahil meron pong madami dyan, inutil, tamad at corrupt. Again, we spend so much money on health to address the medical concerns of our people. So it is unacceptable that if the people get sick because of this government agency and the DOH, what should we do? Secretary Bosa, make true to your word for the sake of the health of the Filipino people. Demand the resignation of FDA Director General Paulo Teston. FDA Director Paulo Teston, kung meron pang natitiyang hiya sa mukha mo, mag-resign ka na kasi inutil ka. Show to the people that you value their health more than anything else. Mr. President, my dear colleagues, thank you for listening, and I hope for everyone's support regarding this matter. Magandang hapon po.
Thank you. Senator Rapi Tulfo, earlier during the budget deliberations, I remember you challenged the Secretary of Health.
Yes. Mr. President,
if you can do it in
yes.
1 week, will he resign?
Yes,
did
Mr. President.
Did he accept the challenge?
Challenge accepted, Mr. President.
And where is he now?
I don't know, the FDA Director General still at the FDA, maybe picking his nose. Mr. President.
All right,
Mr.
Majority Leader.
President, we have several members who wish to interpolate the good gentleman, with his permission, of course. We have Senator Rodante Marcoleta, and after which will be Senator Lauren Legarda. And
All right,
Senator Risa Ontiveros as well.
So, age before beauty. Senator Dante Marcoleta is recognized.
Salamat po, Mr. President. Mr. President, naiintindihan ko po yung frustrations ng ating kasama sa kanyang pagpapahayag sa pamagitan ng kanyang privilege speech ngayong hapon. Kagaya po niya ay ang representasyong ito po ay biktima rin ng ganyang klaseng mga dapat na i-take down sa ating internet, ngunit sa kabagalan po ng mga hensyang may kinaukulan dito, nananatili po tayong naapektuhan ng mga bagay na ito. Ang binabanggit ko po ay yung ating tinake up kanina, Mr. President, na kung saan ay isa sa inyong panukalang batas ay ating na-discuss. At kagaya nga po ng aking naibahagi, Mr. President, ako po ay naging biktima ng napakaraming fake news na sa ngayon ay nabibilang na, may panglima na po. Kagaya po ng frustrations ng ating kasama, Mr. President, yung dalawa po ay ginawan namin ng paraan lang, Mr. President. Ibig sabihin, kagaya ng ating kasama, Senator Rapi, ang opisina niya ang mismong nag-initiate. Inabot yata ng halos 1 linggo bago niya ma-take down yung mga bagay na gusto niyang maalis. Kami po naman ay nagkapalad, Mr. President, na yung unang dalawa, dahil na rin po sa aming sariling pagsisikap, ay na-take down po namin yung unang dalawa. Yung pangatlo po ay napababa namin, na-demote namin, ibig sabihin, nandun pa rin sa internet, pero kukunti na lang ang nakakakita. Hopefully sana ay ma-take down din yon. Meron pa pong dalawang natitira na yan po ang aming pagsisikapan na maalis sapagkat nagsisilbi pong pandaraya at panlilinlang sa ating mga kababayan. Gusto ko pong i-congratulate ang ating kasama sapagkat sa kanyang sariling initiative nagawa niya yon at alam ko ang kanyang frustrations, kagaya ko rin. Kung hindi pa pala kami ay gagawa, Mr. President, kung ito pala iiwanan namin sa mga ahensya na may kinauukulan, ay magtatagal pa pala, kagaya po ng na-experience ng ating kasama, Mr. President. Paano po kaya kung hindi natin gagawin? If we will not fend for ourselves, at hahayaan natin ang mga ahensya na may pananagutan at may responsibilidad na sana sila ang magsikap na gawin lahat ito upang sa ganun ay mailigtas ang lahat ng ating kababayan. Hindi lamang po tayo na kung minsan ay napaparatangan ng kung ano-ano nang dahil lamang sa mga maling, mga fake news na yan na kung tawagin nga ngayon ay disinformation and misinformation. Gusto ko lang pong itanong siguro sa ating kasama, Mr. President, kayo po ay nagmungkahi na hamunin nyo ng resignation yung mga opisyal na may kinalaman dito. Yun din po ba ang suggestion nyo po sa mga mabagal na opisyalis ng mga hensya po na may kinalaman sa pag-take down ng mga fake news, Mr. Senator?
Opo, Mr. President, I agree with you totally. Pero sa kaso ko po kasi, dekada na yung isang produkto, 12 years na hindi pa mapa-take down sa mga online platform ng FDA, yung iba ilang taon, yung iba ilang buwan na, hindi po ma-take down ng FDA. Kaya talagang sobrang ang frustration ko po. Kaya nag-challenge na po ako sa FDA Director himself and then sa DOH Secretary na kung after 1 week magagawa ko, in 7 working days magagawa ko, mag-resign si FDA Director, pumayag naman si Secretary Herbosa, DOH Secretary, na kung saan sa ilalim po, napapailalim po ang FDA. Pero yes, I agree with you. Sana yung mga kawani ng gobyerno na hindi ginagawa yung kanilang trabaho, dapat po talaga mag-resign. Bakit pa ho sila manungkulan sa gobyerno kung hindi nila kayang gampanan yung responsibilities na kanila po ang naka-attach sa kanila, kaya sila po nandun sa kanilang position po.
Sa mga tweet, Mr. President, kaya mo lang na isuggest, na imungkahi na sila'y magsipagbitiw sa tungkulin nang dahil siguro sa frustration mo na napakatagal na panahon pa lang pinaghintay mo na gawan nila ng paraan ang nirereklamo mo.
Yes, Mr. President. Opo.
Ako naman po halos 2 buwan pa lang, Mr. President, kaya makakapagpasensya po ako. Ngunit kapag inabot po ito na 6 months, palagay ko po ikokopyahin ko na po yung ginawa ng ating kasama, Mr. President. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.
Thank you po,
Thank
Mr.
you,
President.
Senator Marcoleta. Senator Loren Legarda is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to associate myself with the sponsor on being vigilant over the incompetence and corruption in government, in the executive department, especially these agencies of government. Would a good sponsor, gentlemen, yield to some questions that will enlighten me so that we can find the solution to this problem of, how do you call it, unregulated, unauthorized selling of drugs and other products?
Yes, Mr. President.
Thank you. How many, can you enlighten me, how many of these products are being sold without FDA approval, Mr. President?
Hundreds of them, Mr. President.
And from what I heard from your interpellation, it's not a few days, weeks, or months. It's been years, Mr. President.
Yes,
And-
Mr. President. There is this product na 12 years na po na nasa merkado at sabi ko nga po yung meron po itong halong amphetamine at we know naman kung ano itong amphetamine, anong side effect na dulot nito dahil ito po isang cup sa shabu. Hindi mapa-take down ng FDA at may mga products naman na nasa kanilang advisory na winawarning ang publiko na it's not fit for human consumption, therefore do not buy. Years, meron pang buwan, hindi po nila mapa-take down, but I was able to take it down with just two staff lang ginamit ko, 2 staff ko lang ginamit, napa-take down po agad namin in 7 working days.
Thank you, Mr. President. May I know, ano po ang naging dahilan sa inyo ng FDA at ng DOH nung plenary at saka sa inyong mga follow-up kung bakit hindi nila kayang ipa-take down, sa kayo po ay ilang araw lang na-take down
Opo.
nyo sa inyong staff?
Well, ang sagot po ng FDA, 800 lang daw po ang tao nila, kulang pa po raw. Samantalang 2 tao ko lang po ang gumawa ng aksyon para mapa-take down yung mga produkto na sabi nila, wag tangkilikin.
Ngayon po, anong produkto po yun na napatake down ng inyong opisina na ilang taon pong hindi mapatake down ng FDA?
Yung pong Hokkaido Slimming Pills,
Ito yung sabi nyo merong
amphetamine content.
amphetamine content na
Since January
Yes.
2013 pa po ito.
yung amphetamine ba ay ingredient ng shabu?
Opo, mapanganib po yan.
Wow.
At nag-check na po kami sa mga medical experts.
So kung hindi po nyo tinake down, binebenta po sa Pilipinas na walang FDA approval, in fact, bawal na substance off the counter.
Yes, Mr. President, meron ng warning ang FDA yung sa risk ng pag-take nitong pills, slimming pills na ito. Yung Hokkaido Slimming Pills, since January 8, 2013 pa sila nagbigay ng advisory ng warning. And yet they weren't doing anything kasi 800 lang daw mga tao nila kaya kulang daw.
Ngayon po, may binebenta ba ho sa mga drugstore at sa mga tindahan at online pa ng produktong yan na merong amphetamine na sabi nyo ingredient sa shabu?
Sa online po, tinawagan namin yung mga malalaking online platform tulad ng Shopee, Lazada, at saka TikTok. Yeah. At yung tatlo po, nag-oblige naman, tinake down nila. Pero meron pa ata siguro sa mga ilan-ilan na mga liliit na online platform, meron din siguro dyan sa mga tindahan, sa Binondo, na hanggang ngayon malamang ay nagbebenta pa rin. Which I've been telling FDA, meron naman silang tao, 800, I think that's too much. A lot na yan, dapat meron silang monitoring unit. After makapag-issue sila ng advisory, i-monitor kung nabibenta pa rin ba sa mga merkado at meron naman din silang enforcement unit, armed, na pwedeng mag-conduct ng raid. And they can do that, but they're not doing it.
Mr. President, ito bang mga produktong ito ay Philippine-made or imported?
These are imported, Mr. President.
Imported. Paano po nakakapasok dito at dapat by now, hindi lang yung pagbebenta po sa online or sa mga drugstores or tindahan, pero hindi dapat nakakapasok at all kung ito'y pinapagbawal na mga, would you consider them gamot, vitamins? Anong tawag po sa mga produktong ito?
Smuggled siguro yan, Mr. President. It's either sa pier or sa airport. But most likely, I think, pwede na siguro to our international airports. Napapasok po yan. Tama po kayo. Dapat meron ding coordination ang FDA sa Bureau of Customs para warningan yung mga Bureau of Customs personnel pag nakita itong mga produkto na ito, kumpiskahin at sunugin, etc., which they're not doing, Mr. President.
Tama po kayo. So now, hindi lang po isang ahensya ng gobyerno, hindi lang po FDA which is under DOH, pati na Bureau of Customs. Kasi yung pagbebenta ay isang bagay, yung pagmamonitor, and that shows the seemingly the incompetence of FDA na hindi nila magawa yung nagawa po ng inyong tanggapan, bakit ko po nakakapasok kung imported naman ito, right?
Smuggling nga, Mr. President.
Yes, so we should, and how many other products are in this same...
Well, in fairness of Bureau of Customs, Mr. President, maybe the Bureau of Customs wasn't informed by FDA na these are the products na dapat bantayan ninyo pag pumasok to, kumpiskahin ninyo, etc. I don't think FDA did just that, Mr. President.
Mr. President, ito po ay hindi rehistrado. Dahil ba ho na pagbawal dahil nga sa maling o masamang ingredient or hindi po sumunod lang ng proseso at kung susunod ng proseso ay maaring mabigyan ng permiso?
Dalawa po, Mr. President. Thank you for bringing that up. Number one, siguro sa ginawa nilang investigasyon o nakarating sa kanilang impormasyon na mapanganib po ito sa kalusugan, kaya huwag yung tangkilikin. And then number two, maaring safe yung product, hindi lang ma-register because alam na natin bakit ayaw i-register dahil nga po kulang sa lagay o walang lagay at all, kaya iniipit po ng FDA. So ang ginagawa nila, habang wala pa silang hindi pa registered, binibenta nila sa merkado. So unregistered ang tawag noon. Meron din advisory yon. So ngayon, imbis na i-raid nila, kasi hindi registered ulihin nila, kumpiskahin nila, Wala po silang ginagawa. Maybe, nalagyan na sila.
So, Mr. President, this is just one example.
FDA, I mean.
This is just one of the many examples of a product which is either not effective, has no permit, no registration, and at worst, harmful to a person's health. Sigurado ako, may mga naapektuhan nito adversely, may mga harmful effects na nagsumbong sa inyong tanggapan o sa inyong popular na YouTube program.
Thank you, Mr.
Sigurado
President.
ako, marami nang naka-apekto dito. May I know what are the effects that you know for those who have taken this unregistered products?
Well, some products unregistered na sinasabi ng FDA sa warning nila ay huwag tangkaling dahil mapanganib. It may cause cancer, cause bleeding, it may cause neurological side effect, etc., and all those health risks na pwedeng mangyari doon sa magtitake ng sinasabi nilang mapanganib na produkto. Mr. President.
Isa lang po ito. Ilan pa po ang mga similarly situated na mga produkto na harmful sa ating kalusugan na hindi dumaan sa proseso at walang FDA permit? At pangatlo ay laganap pa rin maski pinagbawal na.
Yes, Mr. President, thank you for that question. Kasi, Mr. President, what we did, pumunta kami sa website ng FDA and then tinignan namin isa-isa kung ano yung mga products na nagbigay sila ng warning na unregistered, mapanganib, kaya mag-ingat, etc. Inisa-isa po namin yan and then lahat po yun ay pinadala namin sa Shopee kasi tinignan namin Lazada and TikTok. And fortunately, these companies nag-oblige naman, pinagbigyan kami at tinake down after na sulatan namin. Sila.
May I suggest that maybe you've done it already because of your very wide viewership, 30 million in your social media platform in YouTube. Kung ilagay po nyo yung mga produkto at yung masamang epekto sa kalusugan at kung sabihin nyo may ingredient dyan na nasa shabu din ay makakasama sa tao because hindi lahat ay merong ganyang impormasyon ay maaring mawarningan ang mga taong bibili pa ng mga produktong yan kasi lagana pa po sa merkado. So while government is not acting urgently on a health issue or a health emergency by taking away access to harmful health products, I think information so that to scare the people, huwag niyong tatanggilikin ito dahil ito'y hindi lamang illegal kundi masama sa inyong kalusugan. Because as we speak, people may be buying it. Baka may nagsasabi ito, slimming, ito makakaganda sa'yo, tapos makakasama sa kanilang kalusugan.
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. Pinost ko po yun, yung mga product na sabi ng FDA na mapanganib tulad ng Hokkaido Slimming Pills sa Facebook account ko. Pero ang akin pong advice sa lahat ng makakapanood nito, makakarinig sa atin ngayon, i-check nyo po ang website ng FDA. Nandun po yung complete list ng mga sinasabi nila ang registered products, mga products na dapat hindi tangkilikin. All they need to do is go to that website at makikita nila kung yung bang binibili nila, ginagamit nila araw-araw ay nandoon ba o wala. Pag wala doon, then ibig sabihin safe. Pag nandoon, then wag niyong tangkilikin. Kasi yung pong sabi ng FDA. Or, some of these products, safe naman talaga dahil walang lagay, pwede rin pong nilalagay na lang doon. Warning. Ngayon, pag nagbigay na, o di, papabayaan na lang FDA. Alisin na nila buburahin na nila sa kanilang advisory. Kasi nakapaglagay na eh.
That's also dangerous, Mr. President, dahil hindi base sa siyensya o sa tamang datos, kundi dahil sa korupsyon, kaya nawawala sa listahan or nalalagay sa listahan.
Yes,
and
Mr. President.
I join
that's
Your
possible.
Honor in calling for FDA to shape up. I know there's a new FDA head, Attorney Paulo Teston. Siya ba ang sumagot ng mga tanong ninyo nung plenary session natin sa budget?
No, Mr. President, he wasn't here at that time, but his alipores, or his minion, was present at that time. But I was able to talk to Secretary Erbosa That's where I posed my challenge to him during that budget hearing. And Secretary Bosa said, challenge accepted. Kasi sabi ko, paano kapag hindi pa take down ni, anong pa, Deston? Ni Paulo Deston, itong mga unregistered products, ang mga products, sabi mo, dangerous for years and months. Kung mapatake down ko in 7 working days, I think I repeated it twice. Pag-resignin mo ba yung FDA Director General mo? And he said, yes. Kaya nga po, sinisingil ko na ngayon si Secretary Bosa na pag-resignin na po si Deston dahil inutil naman po talaga.
So this is a call to action to the FDA head. I don't know him personally. Again, nothing personal. Attorney Paulo Teston, to Secretary Herbosa as well, and all other government agencies who are not doing their job, who are instead causing harm to the Filipino people because of their inaction or because of possible and alleged corruption, because of government inefficiency, and because of this complacency in implementing all the pertinent rules and laws that we honor.
Yes, Mr.
So I
President.
join Your Honor in making that call. And I think you may call that person to your office along with the the health advocates in this chamber. So
Hindi
that
ko na, ayokong patawag sa office ko, baka mabatukan ko lang, Mr. President.
ako pong aawat sa inyong pagbatok at but levity aside, Mr. President. So thank you for bringing up oftentimes the consumer concerns dahil madalas ang mga consumers ay walang plataforma na mag-angal, magbigay ng kanilang mga hinaing, and thank you for bringing that up. So I could not stop myself from rising today to join that call for efficiency, for transparency, accountability. Tayo we elected officials are being held to be efficient, transparent, accountable. Paano naman itong mga ahensya ng gobyerno who are supposed to be directly serving our people? And harmful products are hurting the Filipino public without their knowing it. So incompetence and inefficiency can lead to death, can lead to adverse effects of health.
Thank you, Mr. President. Exactly. You said can lead to health risk. Kasi, alam mo, let's talk about delays. Yung mga incompetent na mga taga-gobyerno sa ibang agency, their incompetency might not kill people. Pero sa FDA, napaka-sensitive po ng kanilang trabaho. We're talking about drugs, food na kinakain pupunta sa loob ng system ng tao. So, in the long run, some of them might die, some of them might get cancer or any other mga sakit na dulot ng mga gamot na sinasabi nilang dapat wag tangkilikin. Like again, pag merong isang incompetent dyan, let's say sa LTO, mabagal po mag-issue ng driver's license. Walang
Delikado
mamamatay.
rin yun. You're
Wala
correct.
po magkakasakit.
You're
Sa FDA, mabagal sila magpa-take down ng mga gamot na sinasabi nilang bawal. Maaaring may mamatay, maaaring may magkasakit na cancer. Yan po yung difference doon. Mr. President.
Mr. President, I don't think we should stop with this conversation in plenary today. I would again suggest to call the person, the head of the agency. Again, nothing personal. We don't even know that person. And I would encourage you to do this for every agency of government. And I will join you in holding them accountable. Kasi po, ang katangahan, ang katamaran, ang walang bahala sa trabaho ay maaring makamatay ng Pilipino.
Thank you,
Salamat
Mr.
po, Mr. President. We know that this agency is the most complained about, as you mentioned, according to our law on the
ARTA.
ARTA law.
Yes.
So I join you, and I would like to join you in the meeting if that is held in the next few days, even before Christmas. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Mr. President,
Senator
Risa.
Senator Risa Ontiveros is recognized. I'm sorry.
Salamat po, Mr. President. Okay lang po yun. Maikling manifestation lamang po, good gentleman mula sa Isabela. Salamat po, Sen. Rafi, para sa muling pagbibigay diin dito sa mga peligroso unregulated at unregistered health products na napakadaling bilhin online. Kaisa ko kayo sa pag-aalala dito. Kaya nga hinain ko po ang Senate Resolution number 194 na tungkol rin sa mga health risks ng mga produktong ito. Kahit nagbabala na ang FDA at pati ang DOH, at may mga nabalitaan na rin kami na pabata ng pabata ang mga dinadialysis dahil sa paggamit ng mga unregulated supplements na nabili nila online, mukhang hindi sapat na mag-warning lang. Kailangan talaga na higpitan ang enforcement at pagbutihin ang capacity ng ating mga health and regulatory authorities. Asahan niyo po na ang Committee on Health and Demography ay iimbestigahan itong issue na to in aid of legislation upang palakasin ang regulasyon at proteksyon sa kalusugan at karapatan ng ating mga mamamayan. Salamat po muli sa good gentleman. Salamat po, Mr. President.
If I may add, Mr. President, I already filed a resolution number 189 directing the Senate Committee on Health and Demography to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation into the failure of the Food and Drug Administration to enforce regulations against the sale of unregistered and unsafe products online and in stores. At saka isa pa, Mr. President, may dagdag ko, many months ago, kumalat po yung bentahan ng vape sa online na marijuana na wala pong ginawa ang FDA. Nung kinall out ko po yung attention during a hearing, agad-agad, matik, natanggal po mga yon at wala na po. Pero kung hindi ko pa po kinall attention ng FDA at yung Shopee and Lazada, binibenta po yung marijuana online at sa pamagitan ng vape. Kaya dito talaga makikita na sobrang inutil ng FDA. President, thank you po.
All right, thank you. And also, we were able to ask the DOH to look into the DICT to look into the websites carrying abortion clinics, which is illegal in the Philippines. They have removed it succeedingly. Thank you, Senator Turpo. We would like to refer the yes, the Majority Leader.
Mr. President, I move that we refer the speech of the good senator to the Committee on Health and Demography and Trade, Commerce, and Entrepreneurship. So move, Mr. President.
Hearing no objection, the privileged speech and the succeeding interpellations are hereby referred to the Committee on Health and Trade.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes. Mr. President, may I ask for a 1 minute Senate minute suspension?
All right, session suspended for 1 Senate minute.
you, Mr. President. While we're waiting for a few of our colleagues for the interpellation of the, on the geriatrics measure, Mr. President, pursuant to Rule 10, Section 13 of the Rules of the Senate, in view of the suspension of the application of Rule 10, Section 20 thereof, which designates the Deputy Minority Leader as member of all permanent committees, I move to elect the following committee members on the part of the minority. For the Committee on Justice and Human Rights, Senators Go, De La Rosa, and Marcoleta. So move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
For the Committee on Social Justice, Welfare, and Rural Development, Senators Christopher Bongo, Amy Marcos, and Jingo Estrada. So move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, approved.
For the Committee on Basic Education, Senators Christopher Bongo, Robin Hood Padilla, Jingo Estrada, Amy Marcos, Bato de la Rosa, and Rodante Marcoleta. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, approved.
For the Committees on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs, Senators Christopher Bongo, Robin Hood Padilla, Senator Jingo Estrada, and Bato de la Rosa. I move. So move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, approved.
For the Committee on Electoral Reforms and People's Participation, Senators Amy Marcos, Senator Bongo, Senator Robin Hood Padilla, Senator Estrada, and Senator Marcoleta. So moved.
Any objection? Hearing none, approved.
For the Committee on Games and Amusements, Senators Bongo, Bato de la Rosa, Rodante Marcoleta, and Senator Jingo Estrada. So moved, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, approved.
For the Committee on Health and Demography, Senators Bongo, Robin Hood Padilla, Bato de la Rosa, Rodante Marcoleta, and Senator Jingo Estrada. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. Not ready. Mr. President, first of all, I would like to thank Senator Marcoleta because he will no longer interpolate the bill of our distinguished colleague, Senator Rizzo Ontiveros, on the Geriatric Center. And he made mention of that. He made mention of that to us earlier in the lounge, and we thank him for that, Mr. President. But unfortunately, Senator Go is not yet ready to interpolate, hopefully by tomorrow, together with Senator Robin Hood Padilla. So, with that, With that, Mr. President, I move that we adjourn session until 3 o'clock tomorrow, Mr. President, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, December 16, 2025. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, the session is adjourned until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Tuesday, December 16, 2025.